Of trying to understand the foundations, and so part of the work that I've been doing recently at MIT down the street as a community scholar is talking about the perspective of what would a community archive, community hip hop archive have done for you or I or you as a youth? What would a hip-hop museum, what would the impact of that be on a community, right? If kids could go there, what would the impact of someone being able to go to a library and find out about hip-hop in their community? It enables you to find out about the struggle. It enables you to find out about the demographics, the economy, the socio-political economic picture, right? When we talk about codifying things and what that happens is, and then being able to create this like paradigm shift of like, I'm going to take this thing and I'm going to flip it on its ear, right? And I'm going to make you notice, right? So if we look at how that gets respected, I think it only gets respected when the people who created it maintain it in such a way that it can't be seen any other way. That's one side of it, right? And then the other side of it is making sure that the world sees it in a way that the world has to respect it as well. And so that takes more establishment of the art.
That's a good question. How to appreciate, that's a hard one to say because I feel like just like person to person, I can't just say you need to appreciate me just off the rip. Like, you have to have some type of understanding of me, like break bread when you talk to me, like, you know what I mean? And like, it has to be, you gotta earn it in some type of way. So to just say, just to appreciate a thing, I think that it just doesn't come blankly like that. Like, there has to be some type of relationship, some type of connection, some type of also lived experience in the understanding of this thing. So I feel like that's the only way to like really be able to honor a thing or respect it or appreciate it, is to be able to have that understanding to where it's not just here, but it's an understanding to where it's like, I was moved by this, I was felt by this. So that's the reason why now I feel like I need to appreciate this. Yeah.
I know y'all like to down and out. I think that really hit me on the level of those who are in position to enforce the respect, not in the sense of the dictatorship, but also just maintaining what it is that each and every culture has to put forward. And if you're letting that just go through the cracks and it's too loose, then people won't respect it loosely, in passing. Like, oh, okay, that's what y'all doing over there? Oh, cool. We can just nitpick at that, like, oh, that's hype, we like that, and we're going to do it and build an event or build workshops and do these things over here. And like, so, people who come from the culture and stuff, and they get mad and upset, like, no, that's not what y'all doing over there. Y'all doing it like this, we just doing it like that. So, it goes down to the example first, and of course, again, force people to appreciate it, can't force them to respect it, because once it leaves you, once it leaves the community, the responsibility on the individual it's totally on them, But then that individual should question, like, am I doing an extracting or am I contributing? Like, what is the purpose and reason why I'm getting into this? Even the idea of museum, like, that always is in my mind, like, especially for Trump, like, the museum idea of it all, like, the scholastic of it all, the studious ideas and principles that go along with that, and you really like, no, this came from this, and I want to contribute and pay it forward so that it lives on, instead of like, let me just go ahead and get what I can get off of it, get right, get big, do my own thing, and like say like, oh yeah, it came from there, but look at what I got, type of thing, instead of adding to the building blocks and completing the whole puzzle piece of it all, so Yeah, that's what I really feel. It's contribution, man. Like, what are you contributing to it in the end? Because that's just purpose in life in general. Like how we've even gotten to sit in these chairs now. It's contribution. What I'm speaking in is contribution. All of it's contribution. So are you pulling, taking away, or are you actually appreciating it, you know, what's being underneath the umbrella, and then turning it on its head as far as contribution goes? So that's how I see it.
I just want to double down on what y'all said even more of like that teaching people how to respect the thing that you're in or the thing that you have. Like I think it's really that thing of like showing people how to respect the thing too. So heavy on that, like showing people this is how you treat it. This is how you do that. And so not being scared to speak up. Do you know what I mean? Not being scared to be like, hey, oh no, I'm not gonna do that. Like, because that's not what happens here. You know what I mean? Oh no, we know that. We're not gonna have that. And it's okay to speak up to that. Because as being a part of this, you have a responsibility to do that. So I just want to double back on that.
I'm going to add to that by saying this. If you see a beautiful flower, do you pick it because you want to take it home, or do you let it grow? Do you study what that flower is so you can find out about more, how to take care of it, how to cultivate it, how to, you know, how to make more of it, right? How do you slice that thing? How do you make a new one? And so there's an appreciation that comes along with saying, I'm going to leave that thing connected to the bush so it can grow in its natural state, and I'm going to appreciate the beauty from here and watch how it goes through its phases. And that's what the seasons of life are about, the seasons of everything we do. Oh, it's changed.
Especially from, my lens of like, from before like, it became like the Soul Train line thing now. Like set the camera up in the front to the back. Everybody move to the back to the side so that we can get it on film and we can get the lights up and we can get the, double tap we can meet kind of thing. Before then it was like it's a swarm. It was a swarm of like individuals it was a brawl for opportunity, so a brawl for contribution at the end of the day. You went, you laughed, you practiced, you brought it to each session, so on and so forth. Like, this is what I'm working on. So it's really community versus now it being thrown in the pool of consumer kind of thing. Like, let me stand there and withhold my reaction because I'm waiting for my turn to kill it. You know what I'm saying? Instead of killing it, why don't we connect? Why don't we keep the connection going? You know what I'm saying?
That's a good question. Definitely it has changed. I feel like if I can equate it to something, I feel like it's like those parties that happen. I know everybody hasn't experienced this, but those parties that happen sometimes where, it's family parties and the kids are on this side and and then maybe this group over here in the kitchen talking, aunties or something like that in the kitchen talking, and then and somebody over in the card table. And so organically, this is the place that everyone's gathering, but because of the energy flow, sometimes conversations will gravitate into certain pockets, and then those are what is happening in those spaces. And then also there's guidelines in a way to where you respect, to where sometimes you don't go to over there in that kitchen, get out the kitchen, go back and go, you know what I mean? And we're having a conversation here, and so there was this thing of the energy flow where you knew where you maybe wanted to be, or maybe you're curious and want to be there, but maybe you can't be there yet, or, you know what I mean? So I feel like the flow was like that. I kind of, in my beginning stages, felt like the cypher spaces were kind of like that in clubs or in parties or events. It was like things just kind of maybe organically created in certain ways. And I try to find my way where I wanted to be, or maybe what I was curious to be, And I think throughout my experience of being in these spaces, they've changed to where now it feels like this is what we do. We make ciphers. Everyone get together. And it's like, oh, there's nothing organic about that. There's nothing like what? And so now we have a crowd of people that don't know what they're doing, don't know why they gathered there, don't know if they want to say something. People are scared. People are like, why are we here? It feels uncomfortable. Let's stop. Right? So I think that has also changed. And then also, like you said, now it's the cameras. It's like everybody wants to capture a moment, and not really feel the moment. And so sometimes because there is flash and there's lights, you don't want to tap into what you really want to tap into and express the way you really want to express, And sometimes it's not even just that. Sometimes just the energy won't even get there because there are all those energies of flashing, of cameras, of people are looking, and so and also those eyes of people that don't know what they're watching. So then you feel like I'm entertainment to you, where I don't want to be entertainment. I just want to be here, So, yeah.
Wow, good question. The first time I think of ciphers, I think of like Malcolm X speaking right here at Harvard University, right? He was talking about equality. He said, what is true equality? It's like, Mark, you tell us about what you're going to do. How do you get everyone to sit at the table? He said, if there's not room enough for everyone at the table, we break their legs and everyone sit on the ground. So the cipher, the circle started so that everyone would be equal because there was tables where people would exclude folk. So the cipher originally was a battle. We were just opening it up so that we could see if your skill was superior to mine or his. Because my crew, that's not going to be enough to take us out. So for me, the cipher initially was, that's where you go to see what's what. That's where the newest style is. That's where the freshest breaks are. That's where the baddest dancers are. And whoever's the best, we're going to find out in short time because it's only going to take so long because once I go out, we want to know whether or not, like my man Dad says, listen, once I go, you're going to know whether or not you need to go on the floor or go home because that's what the cycle was. It leveled you up. So the cycle will let you know you should really be at home practicing, or you should just sit here and you should just watch. This is going to be more of an educated thing tonight. You know what I'm saying? But I think the cypher is changed for all the reasons why they just said. And then also because the cypher isn't really a cypher anymore. They're hardly ever organic, right? It's always something that's made up for the purpose of making something up so that we can sell it. When we were first doing this, we were just doing this for survival. So the battle is different. The battle is always different.
Break the legs and sit on the floor. Shout out to Brother X. Gee. In layman's terms, the cipher that we're referring to is the circle that happens where freestyle dance occurs. It's a sacred circle, and notice everybody talked about energy. There's something really sacred about what it means to have everybody facing inwards in a circle, one direction, and the focus and the attention is on one individual or two individuals, however many individuals in the center. For me, it's ritualistic. When I first started crumping, I was actually alone, right? My ciphers would be spontaneous at like parties and teen clubs, but you know, they knew me as the guy who got crunk. There wasn't any other crumpers. There would be people who tried. I tried to convince a lot of my folks to crump. They would do it for like 10 seconds, and they'll be like, "Oh, this ain't really for me." But I'll be like, this could be a thing, Then I met my first crew, my family, Side Street. The day that I literally walked down into our brother Robert's basement, and Russell was getting off, he was dancing, and then his best friend Micah dared me, like, "Yo, when you go down there, they don't know I'm coming. When you go down there, I dare you to just start getting crunk," and I did, right? And so Russ turned to me, and then we just kept going back and forth. That went on probably for like, I would say like 12 rounds, until we both were out of breath. And, you know, he put his hand on my shoulder. He's like, "Yo, like, where did you come from?" He's like, "You trying to be a part of our family?" I'm like, "Yeah." And that day I became, Russell was gutter at the time, well, he's still the gutter. I became kid gutter. And I found a group of people that did what I did, and we celebrated each other. And we held each other to a certain standard. Like, I would have to level up every session. Like, I couldn't come to the session the next week with the same move or the same energy. Like, I would have to level up every time. So that sacred circle, like, is what we use to catapult each other into where we are now. You know, Russell won season 6 of So You Can Dance. We've been able to travel the world with this dance thing and speak and teach and educate. Some of us took this energy and went into music. Some of us took the energy and built nonprofits that are now changing the landscape of what we have going on. Like, a lot of us develop who we are as people even beyond the dance and the cypher. So the cypher is still sacred to me, and even though it doesn't mean the same to everybody, I still find that sacred space. I still try to bring that energy to the table, but it definitely has shifted. Because crunk, like he was saying, like in the early days, there was no infrastructure, there was no money, there was very few events. Like, we just were teenagers, and we were getting together everywhere that we possibly could to get crunk. If it was in the laundry room, when someone was doing laundry, or the laundry mat, if it was, you know, in a parking lot, if it was in somebody's grandmother's living room where we had to crunk with light feet, or like, you can't stomp, and you have to hike up like this, "Gee, let's go, let's get it, Gee," right? We were getting crunk like wherever we possibly could. So that this circle is the space that I even share from when I teach Working Cypher. If I throw an event, the infrastructure of the event is a cypher circle. I put a stage in the middle of the venue and have everybody come around the stage. I built everything from that sacred circle. And I do think that, like, every chance we get, we have to remind people of how sacred it is. It's not just about dancing and showing off your moves and all this. Like, this thing is like, it's spiritual, you know? It's deeply rooted. I think we are a little bit out of, we gotta move into our next segment, you know. We watched about this, we watched the docu-series, we talked about this. I think it's about time we moved about this.